Good evening. You're watching the news on Croatian television. President Kolinda Grabar-Kitarović joined today's meeting of the Council on Demographic Revitalization at the government building in Zagreb. The president was invited by the Prime Minister, whom she has frequently accused of failing to adequately address the problem. Both agree that demographic decline is the most pressing issue facing Croatia and that more cooperation and synergy is needed.
What I find especially pleasing is that research has shown that young families would like to have more children than they currently have. So the problem isn't whether or not families want children. This means that we must now create the proper conditions for that to happen.
We have supported a range of ideas suggested by the President. These measures are mostly complementary to those already being implemented by the government, and we will continue to work closely together. We will also include the President's special advisor in the regular meetings of the Council on Demographic Revitalization moving forward.
A conference was held in Zagreb titled "The Future of the Tax and Pension Systems" that could help remedy the country's declining demographics. Labor and Pension System Minister Marko Pavić said the government's proposed reforms were still being debated, while Finance Minister Zdravko Marić announced further tax relief in the new year.
Without reforms, the pension system is unsustainable. The proposed reforms aim to achieve two goals: the long-term sustainability of the pension system and creating an adequate pension that people can live off. The public must know that there is a major problem with the current pension system. About 1 year ago, when we spoke about further tax reforms, entrepreneurs and social partners were in agreement that the government was making steps in the right direction, and that we needed to continue down that path. And in order to raise our standard of living, salaries, and employment rate, we must all work together.
However, opposition parties were quick to raise their voices in protest over the proposed pension reforms and called on the minister to address the issue in Parliament.
This is not good. Croatia is moving in the wrong direction. We are moving towards further inequality and divisions in society. People who worked hard and barely made ends meet with their small salaries will be no better off in retirement.
The Croatian Chamber of Economy held a conference marking the country's 5 years of EU membership. While the overall economy and standard of living has improved greatly, the consensus is that there is plenty of work to be done. And perhaps most importantly, Croatia has only 2 years left to access some 11 billion euros available in EU funds.
Last year we achieved a surplus, and we will continue to implement responsible fiscal policies because this is the key to the country's credibility. We had a surplus of 2,750 million kuna, and that's a great achievement. We increased exports by 14%, and in the first quarter of 2018, we had 71,000 more employed persons than the same period last year. We raised the minimum wage twice, and the average salary increased by 500 kuna since 2016. Business people say they feel like a part of the European single market, and that they can see positive shifts in the way their products and services are viewed on European markets. And also, they say doing business in the EU is simpler than here in Croatia.
Meanwhile, earlier in the day, Parliament took a moment to mark 10 years since the creation of the institution of Ombudsman for persons with disabilities.
It's our responsibility to raise awareness in society about the rights of people with disabilities. We must debunk stereotypes and prejudices, protect their rights throughout the education system, and recognize their virtues and true value within society.
In other news, foreign police officers will once again help keep the peace at some of Croatia's busiest tourist cities. The project, which began 12 years ago, is part of a cooperation effort between Croatian and EU police forces to ensure tourists have a safe and worry-free holiday.
I'm really happy to be working here, and it's great to be able to help the Croatian police and German tourists.
Taking a quick look at sports, Croatia has moved on to the quarterfinals of the World Cup after edging past Denmark in a dramatic penalty shootout. Croatia will now face hosts Russia on Saturday, July 7th in Sochi for a spot in the semis.
It was a dramatic finish, but we deserved the win. Missing the penalty was tough, but I knew we would pull it off. It was difficult to watch, but it must have been even harder for the guys on the field. Both teams fought hard, but in the end, we deserved the win.
In tennis, at Wimbledon, 2017 runner-up Marin Cilic eased into the second round on Monday with a straight-sets win over Japan's Yoshihito Nishioka. Cilic is in good form after winning the Wimbledon warm-up event at London's Queen's Club last weekend.
The weather forecast for tomorrow calls for mostly cloudy skies with periods of sunshine throughout most of the interior and the northern Adriatic. Isolated showers are possible in higher elevations, including Gorski Kotar and Lika, and parts of the northern coast. Sunshine is expected in the far east and in Dalmatia. The Adriatic coast will get a weak to moderate southeasterly wind, while the north can expect a northeasterly overnight and into the morning. Winds will switch and come in out of the southwest and west after midday. Morning lows of 13 to 18 degrees Celsius in the interior and from 18 to 23 on the coast will give way to highs of 26 to 31 degrees Celsius. And looking ahead, temperatures are set to rise around continental regions as the week moves on. And at the same time, changeable weather will continue. Rain and thunderstorms are likely after midday in central areas of the continent and higher elevations. Meanwhile, Dalmatia will be mostly sunny. Northern areas of the coast have the highest chance of rain and thunderstorms, including the Istrian Peninsula and the Dalmatian hinterland.
And that brings us to the end of our program. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow night.